Hey everyone, welcome to the BATTASS Podcast, the Batman the Animated Series Show podcast. My name is Clay McCormack, and with me is...
Sean Murphy.
And this is sort of a, I guess if this was a book, this would be the preface. This is sort of, this project was something, we've actually been recording these over the last year and a half, more or less.
Right.
And with the idea to release a podcast about Batman the Animated Series, we were going to do it kind of like the Netflix model. We talk about that multiple times in the show. But basically, not having a set date to release meant we spread them out and didn't have as tight a recording schedule.
Right.
So they ended up covering a very wide swath of time that ended up sort of, when we look back during the editing phase, kind of felt like an interesting time capsule because of, what we were thinking about. And at the time, Sean, you had just started working on Batman White Knight, right?
Yeah. For a lot of the interviews, because I had Batman on the brain, I was trying not to talk about my script. And then a few times when I was listening to the episodes, I heard myself starting to talk about, like, oh, here's what I'm thinking about for the Joker. Oh, I really can't say that right now. Trying to not spoil anything, basically. And for me, as a time capsule, I can remember exactly the page I was drawing when I probably said that. So it's interesting for me to listen back and sort of see how things evolved. Like some of the ideas I threw out there, I didn't end up using. Some of the stuff I did. So yeah, with this recording, I'm going to try. I guess people have already read the book for the most part because it's out.
I did think of it just now. We should probably make it clear that we are both comic book artists.
Oh yeah,
That's
sorry.
Why...
I thought that was in the other intro, or is this the new intro?
It is. This is going to go first, I think.
Okay.
And you had the opportunity to write and draw your own Batman book over the last year or so. It's called Batman White Knight, and it's all out now. And hopefully by the time this comes out, the collection will be out.
Yeah, that's right. And that should be true. I think the collection is due out in October, so we should be good to go. But I write and draw Batman comics. I got to do my own last year called White Knight. Clay is one of my closest friends. He's working on a lot of horror stuff right now. What are you working on right now, Clay?
I just finished up a book for a company called Waxwork Comics called Poser. It's a punk rock slasher horror thing that kind of goes in the vein of like the 70s Italian horror movies and stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty out there, so check it out if you can find it.
Yeah. Well, I guess because you were, Clay was saying how we kind of need a hook. And because a lot of people have reviewed the animated series, I think our hook would be coming at it from comic book people, comparing the cartoon to how you would handle it in a book, what Batman means to us from our perspective, more or less.
Right, and it's everyone that I know in the comics world always talks about this show, but we both thought it would be really interesting to actually talk about it kind of analytically,
right,
and sit down and actually look at it from the point of view of people who actually work in the comic book industry.
Yeah. And I'm glad we waited because now when we talk, I don't have to hold back. People have basically read my book. White Knight ended up doing really well. So I think that, sorry, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything. But I think it's an interesting platform, for me anyway, to jump off and describe how my book came off of the heels of the animated series,
Did you find that keep watching these episodes while you were working and talking about it on here influenced your writing at all?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have Mark Hamill's voice in my head. I definitely think of Harleen Sorkin, sorry? What's her name?
Yes, Arlene.
Arlene. So close. I jokingly say in a lot of interviews that this is kind of like where I would imagine the TAS universe being 20 years later, basically. It's I use Montoya, I use Bullock. I generally accept the background that TAS sets up. So for me, I didn't really read a lot of Batman comics. My Bible was basically these episodes. I don't know about you.
And when you were bouncing your ideas off of me a little bit, you could definitely see that coming through. It was clear that this was the universe that you were working in.
Right. And that's the other thing I wanted to talk about too. I did not write the book alone. I had a lot of help from Clay. And, the way that DC is set up now with the Bill Finger, Bill Finger is this guy who helped create a lot of the stuff in Batman. And there was a lawsuit, and Bill Finger wasn't able to quite get the credit that he deserves, although I guess it's been sorted out. But I really pushed hard for Clay to get some kind of credit in the book because I believe that's the right thing to do. Unfortunately, DC's lawyers shot me down, and they have a policy now where they try to stay away from that stuff. And I honestly understand it. DC's has been paying my salary for a long time, so I'm not trying to rock the boat. But I did want to record something with Clay and talk about how influential he was in helping me write the script. I really appreciate that. I'd give him I'd chat with him on the phone. I would give him beats. We would go over dialogue. He would help steer me sort of down the path I ended up going. And my thought was I always thought Clay was really, really fantastic at breaking down stories, breaking down scripts, and explaining why things work. And when I do books, I try to think of my ideal customer in a way, not to get into marketing. But I always, I do sort of see you, Clay, as my ideal customer. Like, I want a guy or a girl who's gonna read my book, who probably likes RoboCop. He probably likes Highlander, but he can also break down why that he likes these things, and he can be really professorial about why scripts work and why they don't. So in my mind, I knew that if my script was at least an A- for Clay, hopefully that would make it an A-level script for 90% of my readers. If I could please Clay and Clay was happy with it, then generally I think my readers would dig it, is basically what I'm saying.
I'm really happy to know that our friendship is based on only economics.
That's true. No, that's not true.
But so basically what he's trying to say is anything you liked in the book was my idea and everything else was his.
It's funny.
I don't want it to make it sound like I co-wrote the book or anything, because I didn't. But I definitely had fun working with you on it. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, knowing that you were kind of working in that universe of the animated series and seeing the scripts you were sending me and stuff. This actually ended up being really helpful at working out a lot of the stuff in Batman White Knight, because I think we were both pretty deep into the animated series and the Batman thing in general.
Right.
So if we get a little bit deep in this podcast about breaking things down too minutely, just keep in mind we're in that kind of headspace. But
right.
The other side benefit from this is we kind of stray a little bit, and we get into more just general art and comic stuff. And I think if you're interested in Batman, if you're interested in comics, I think you'll really enjoy it.
Right.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, man. I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah. So this is just a little introduction before the real introduction. So enjoy the BATTASS Podcast.
Wait. I do want to give you credit for that amazing theme song that you wrote on your keyboard.
Oh, thanks.
Your synthesizer.
Thanks. Yeah, I felt like we needed something. Hopefully it's not too over the top.
No, we love it. Clay and I both discovered synthwave at the same time. It's basically like John Carpenter music type synthesizer soundtrack. So for the opening, I thought it was appropriate that because Clay bought a synthesizer and he's been dying to use it for something, I would assume. So.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And, if people enjoy it, shoot me an email or a tweet or something, and I'll give you a link where you can download it or something. And you can do that by finding us at our email is battasspodcast@gmail.com. That's BATTASS podcast@gmail.com. And on Twitter, we're BATTASS Podcast. So that's at BATTASS Podcast. So yeah, we're gonna right now you're gonna listen to our thoughts on the whole first season of Batman the Animated Series, and then so if you have any questions or feedback, send it to us. We'll look at it, and we're probably going to answer a lot of that stuff. I think we're going to do maybe Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah.
And then if enough people like this, hopefully we'll jump into season 2. So that's all from me. Anything else you want to say?
No, just want to say thank you, everybody, not only for supporting my book, but for checking this podcast out. And I hope we can do great things.
Yeah, I hope people enjoy it, and thanks for listening, and thanks, Sean, for letting me be a part of White Knight. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you for letting me steal all of your ideas and pretending that they're mine.
Oh, it's, anytime. I'm never going to get to write Batman, so someone may.
Aw, you don't say that.
After this comes out, I won't.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, see you guys later.
Bye.